Good morning, folks. How are we all this morning? I hope we're well. And I see Hughie's got a big list of everybody in the chat. Stephen Bankier, Robert McInnes, Linda D, Eddie Wolfie, Carol Oakes, Mark Delfer, John O'Rourke, Reagan Oik, Barbara Lansdowne, Kirsty Fall, Desiree Greencat, Scott Haynes, Anna Chisholm. Well, that saves me looking up the line. Now we can just carry on here. Dexter's in. So is John. And Melanie, our Swedish correspondent. Good morning, everyone. How are we all today? I see the other Davies there as well. I don't know how this will go today because the notification I put up yesterday was taken down during an update through the night. So I was only able to post this link about 15 minutes ago. But we'll see how it goes, shall we? Morning, Ange. Morning, Dean. Morning, Lorna. Morning, wee bub. Anna McHugh. Good morning, Doug. Good morning. Stella, how are you this morning? Hi, Jim. Right, numbers are climbing nicely, folks. So let's get this underway, shall we? Indy Tuck Davy out the truck nap home in his office in Salisbury, North Lanarkshire, where it is a pleasant morning, 17 degrees, overcast. Hey, there's going to be sunshine and clouds all day, you know. High is expected to be 19 degrees in this area. There's no rain in the forecast, so it'll probably rain. And the pollen count is high, and once again, it's grass. Morning, Alistair. Morning, Margaret. Right, first up this morning, folks, we have the two red tops, and as you know, I don't put the scum of the record up. Alright, so the scum, it's on a sports and crime story. Henry, stalking campaign. Shamed Scotland legend, terrorised ex. And this is a story that Colin Henry's been terrorising his ex-girlfriend. A wee bit more of that in the Rancid, because that's on the same story, and it's a Scotland hero harassed women. Ex-banned for Braveheart, Colin Henry bombarded former lover with phone calls, and judge issues a restraining order against him to get him to stay away from this woman. Doesn't sound much Braveheart to me, sounds more Creepy Heart to me. He might have been a sports hero once upon a time, but it would appear now he's just a creep. Charming. Right. Next up, we have a Scotsman. We'll put it up once we find it. Here we go. The Scotsman. What's the Scotsman got for us today? Scots oil firm warns staff over closure. Now, what's this all about? Well, apparently, one of the decommissioning companies to decommission oil rigs is going out of business because they're not being decommissioned, they're being moved to new drilling sites. Simple as that. If you don't have any decommissioning to do, you can't run a decommissioning company. And as they're pumping like fuck up there in the North Sea, nothing's being decommissioned, it's just being moved. Simple as that. So we'll take that nonsense down. And get shot here. Then we'll move on to the Herald. So, what nonsense has the Herald got for us this morning? Let's all look and see. SNP opposition to nuclear power could cost millions. Could cost millions, apparently. Now, according to the Herald, the industry and trade unions are warning that lucrative contracts are going south of the border and that Scotland was missing out. Well, folks, nuclear is not green, and we are already running over capacity when it comes to electricity production. We are a net exporter of electricity, so we don't need nuclear energy. We don't need dirty nuclear plants, dangerous nuclear plants. Let England build them. Let England have that crap in their land. We don't need it. We're already a net exporter of energy. We're already over capacity when it comes to energy production. We don't need nuclear. So this nonsense about contracts worth millions going south, let them fucking keep them. It's going to cost us millions anyway as long as we're in this union, because we're having to fucking pay for them to be built. But we don't need any more capacity. Our grid is struggling to take the capacity we're already producing. We'll get rid of that nonsense. Ending for an SNP bad story, folks. Right, after that we'll get the Tory Graph, whether that be a blue or a red Tory. Because I hear West Streetons in the Tory Graph telling the BMA that they will lose the pay battle. No, what will happen is England will lose its NHS because they'll all up sticks and fucking leave. West Streetons are fucking idiot. But of all the places for a Labour MP to be penning an article to warn the trade union, the fucking Telegraph. Wow. If you wanted evidence that this new incumbents of the Labour Party was a Conservative Party, a look-alike, well, they're all contributing to the Tory paper now, aren't they? Because they're all fucking Tories now. Okay. Anyway, next up's the Tory Graph. Let's see where it's go for, shall we? Another 100 times, I think. Right, the Tory Graph, here we go. Heathrow cares to bring days of delays. Now this is to do with the fact that the infrastructure's fucking aging. Apparently the radar broke down. That's what happens when you don't invest. And the private companies that run these places, they're not investing. The government that runs the air controllers, they're not investing. They're lucky it's only going to be delays. Waiting on accidents happening. Coming up, come on then. Up you get. Let's stay up on the table because Mr. Milligan doesn't like your ears being pointed at him. Yeah. So you're staying up there, you're not getting done. No, books on my lap. Okay. Right, so that was the Tory Graph. Next up's the National. What's the National go for us? Charlie, you can't get done today. No. I guess he's not taking no for an answer. Right, come on, get done. I'll try and keep his arse out the camera. What? What are you doing? What are you doing to my iPad? Huh? What are you doing to my iPad, Charlie Cat? So as usual, Charlie Cat wants to get in on it. Anyway, the National. Activists harassed daily by Scots police during Trump visit. Now apparently these bams were going up and asking people for their identification so that they can find out whether they were on bail or no. If they'd come up and asked me for my ID, they'd tell me going off. With police by consent here, and I wouldn't give them consent, I'd just say, no, I have my consent, off you go. You're right, Spanner McTavish. Charlie will do what he wants, that's what he's like. And apparently Angus Robertson has to explain why he's friends with a Jewish woman. I mean, we can't hold the Jewish people responsible for the regime. Now, I don't know the story, but I'm sure Angus has known the person a very long time. And technical expert called pedo during meeting on Online Safety Act. I wonder how one of the technical experts had the pedo's number on speed dial. Huh? Yeah, well. Right, that's Charlie made his appearance. He's away now. Way onto the table. You can see his wee tail flapping about there. Charlie Cat and number 10 scats, or Larry could do a better job, could they, than the government? I would think so, yes. The question to Labour's nuclear lobby is, will nuclear reactors bring electricity prices down? Trap them with that. It's not a bad one, Kevin. Another superstar in our midst again this morning, folks. We should be honoured. Oh, and by the way, Reagan Elite goes live right after me when I finish this programme, folks. So if you want to give his Good Morning programme a look. And then, of course, don't forget Independence Live. Kevin has always got good shows on. I say Kevin's an absolute legend. Right, where was we? Oh, that was the Tory Graph. And we've had the National. So let's move on to the Field. Let's get the Field up, see what nonsense it's got on its front page today. Because inevitably, it will be nonsense. Not really that one. Okay, the Scottish Daily Field. Let's get it up. Here we go. Lib Dem branded despicable for claiming victims are bargaining power for Hamas. Scots MP sickening insult to Israeli hostages. Are we in fuck? So now you can't state the obvious. Of course Hamas are holding on to these. Because the minute Hamas lets this lot go, the people of Gaza are finished. Finished. And for the Scots MP to be berated for stating the fucking obvious. Huh? What's going on in the world where you are being berated for telling the truth? Of course Hamas are holding on to these last 20 live hostages in order to try and cling on and protect the Palestinian people, what's left of them in Gaza, as much as they can. Wow. But for the MP to state the bloody obvious and then be banjoed like that in the papers. Anyway, fuck the Israeli hostages. What about the tens of thousands of Palestinian hostages being held in Israeli jails? And the other thing about it is, I didn't see the Daily Fail go radio rental when Trump said the same thing on BBC Radio Scotland the other morning. Trump told us that he told Bibi to finish it. He told us that they're down to 20 hostages. Hamas isn't going to let them go. Finish it. That's what he told them. And he told us that on BBC Radio Scotland. Tuesday morning, I think it was. Unbelievable. So stating the obvious means that you're going to get hammered. Telling the truth means you're going to get hammered. But that's a fact. Hamas is holding on to these hostages. And rightly so. Because the minute these hostages are gone, the Gaza Strip's gone, what's left here. Right, let's see what the eyes go for us this morning. This one's nonsense and all. UK plan to get aid trucks into Gaza as Starmer joins allies in new warning to Israel. Folks are paying lip service to this. That's what it is. Starmer got an agreement with Trump to make a wee bit of noise to appease the UK public. And he's given Israel to September to wipe the rest of the Palestinians in Gaza out. And if they don't get food in shortly, there'll be much left. Sad as that is, but that's exactly what's happening here, folks. Right. Next up's the Times. This one's a cracker, folks. A real cracker. Palestine vow breaks law, claims top lawyer. So 40 lords, majority of which are Jewish, have signed a letter to Starmer telling him that to recognise the state of Palestine would to be breaking international law, as the UK was a signatory to the 1933 Montevideo Conventions, which have since been overruled or succeeded by the United Nations and its conventions, and of course there's the Vienna Conventions as well. So the 1933 Montevideo Conventions, signed in Uruguay on December 26, 1933, is an obsolete law. But there's Starmer's get out clause, folks. Because according to these lords, international law is supposed to guide our foreign policy, and it's whatever international law that the Lords decide is applicable. No, the standard modern international law. No. Let's go back to before there was a United Nations. But there's Starmer's get out clause. There's his get out clause. Come September, when he's going to stand up in the United Nations and recognise Palestine, he's going to say, oops, sorry folks, can't he? 1933 Montevideo Conventions say Palestine don't meet the criteria to be a state. And that's Israel's doing. Why? Because they carved up Palestine into the West Bank and into Gaza and had two different administrations. In order to qualify as a state, you need to have a centralised government. Palestine doesn't have one. Of course, those rules changed under the United Nations and their conventions. But that's what this mob and the Lords are telling Starmer, and that's his get-out clause. I tell you there'd be a get-out clause. Well, that's it. The Lords have found it for him. Really drive you in the twist, so it would. It would drive you in the twist. But there you go. Some Jewish lords have managed to find a law from before the United Nations and modern international law. And I've told Starmer you can't recognise Palestine. So there you go. That was the Times. Next up should be the Guardian. Yep, the Guardian. Palestine Action wins right to fight ban in court. Good. Prescribing this protest group as terrorists was a bloody outrage, and it was misuse of government power. It was misuse of government power by Yvette Cooper. She deserves to be in the dock. Civil liberties are being eroded to suit Israel. The whole fucking lot of them should be in the dock. Every single one of them on that cabinet should be in The Hague. And when they come up this road, they should be getting lifted by Police Scotland. If Scotland had its own energy industry, it would increase. Scotland has its own energy industry, and two companies here in Scotland run the grid. So Scotland has its own energy industry, and we certainly don't need nuclear. We're at over capacity at the moment. We're turning the bloody wind turbines off and subsidising the companies that run the wind farms because we've got that much over capacity. Right, done with that one. It's good. Palestine Action is getting their day in court. And I hope this government gets a bloody nose for overextending itself and misusing its position in public office. A bloody outrage. Next up should be the Metro. Fans line streets to say goodbye to rock icon. Sharon's tears for her Ozzy. And that's Ozzy Osbourne laid to rest yesterday, I suppose. I don't have much to say about that. We'll take that down. And we'll go for the shutting of the book, which tells us we're about to wrap this one up. That was quick this morning. But 40 Labour peers in the House of Lords, digging up a piece of legislation from before the United Nations was formed to try and put a stop to Starmer recognising Palestine. Either that is to give him a get-out clause when he doesn't recognise Palestine. And Ozzy Osbourne laid to rest. What's the Star got for us today? Let's have a look. And the Star has Prince of Sadness, Sharon's tear for her Aussie. And that's a picture of the flowers that were on the back of the hearse wheel. Okay. I say, it's an interesting development for the Lords. Now, I wonder if he's actually tasked these Jewish peers with finding this piece of legislation. I wonder if Starmer tasked them. Because we know Starmer doesn't want to recognise Palestine. He's a Zionist. He admits to being a Zionist, and I don't think he wants to recognise Palestine. In fact, I know he doesn't want to recognise Palestine. He had to make some noise because his cabinet were grumbling, his backbenches were grumbling, and the public are up in fucking arms about the UK's complicity in this fucking genocide. Because even if the mainstream media won't say it, us here in social media won't hide from the truth. We, folks, are watching a genocide and our government is complicit. Sorry, England's government is complicit. Oh no, hold on a minute. Half the fucking idiots in Scotland voted for this lot this time round and all, didn't they? So I guess it is our government now. We all have blood in our hands. Even though we're all up in arms about it, we don't seem to be able to shift to our politicians to do something about it. Honest to fuck, folks. No boffins but a coffin. Like that one, Sir Larry. Like that one. We'll take it down. So Starmer gets his get out clause. I wonder if he tasked these Jewish lords to find this old piece of legislation or no. Okay. Scotland's a Westminster petri dish, is it? It's definitely a fucking social experiment. The whole of the UK is a social experiment. To the state, we're just its play toys. Okay. Right, that's it for this morning. I'll be back this afternoon at 4 o'clock with the other David, where we'll talk about some of these issues a bit wider. Now, thanks for tuning in on large numbers. I'll away and schedule a more of this programme, then I've got things to do, so I'll catch you later. Bye now.